Welcome to the show where we unearth new ways of looking at ever-evolving life around the world, seen from a number of different industries, cultures, and backgrounds. But there's one thing that unites everyone I speak to. They all want to do their part to make the world better in their own unique ways. It's a uniting passion. Whether they're from the commercial world, third sector, or public sector, from the global north or the global south, my name is Philippa White, and welcome to TIE Unearthed. Hello and welcome to episode 32 of TIE Unearthed. Imagine being given the opportunity to make a positive difference to 3 billion people around the world. Then, imagine being told you had 6 weeks to help the country of Malawi present at the high-level dialogue for energy meeting hosted by the UN in New York and bring a voice to these 3 billion people. Sounds a little crazy and perhaps a bit intense, right? Well, Luca Zerbini was one of the ambitious people that joined the last TIE Accelerator team to help crack this challenge. He's the co-founder and managing partner of Peak Point Partners, a venture capital fund at the crossroads of technology, digitalization, sustainability, and social responsibility. Before this, he was an accomplished consultant at Bain Company and a C-suite executive. He's an engineer, holds an MBA from Wharton, and is a fellow of the Marketing Academy and the Institute for Real Growth, which are both focused on human growth and on purpose-driven leadership, specifically around sustainability and social responsibility. So it felt pretty fitting to chat with Luca today about his TIE Accelerator experience, why he got involved, what we can expect for the UN meeting next month in September, and why he compares TIE to a mini MBA. So sit back, relax, and here is Luca. Hi, Luca. It's lovely to have you with us. It's good to see you here. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you, Philippa, for having me.
Thank you. So tell me, where are you sitting right now so our listeners can
now I'm actually back in Switzerland, in Zurich, at my home. And very happy to be back home after a few weeks away between work and holidays.
Yeah, you were in Italy. Very envious.
It was great.
Very envious.
We needed it because after almost a year of lockdown, we needed some travel.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I haven't left. It's so crazy. I haven't left Brazil in almost 2 years. I mean, it's never been that long. You know, it's a really long time. And my sister-in-law's from Italy, and I've got family in Canada. I've got family in England. I've got family in South Africa. It's like, Right. But anyway, at least Brazil's not...
I've seen my parents only after, I think it's since Christmas I haven't seen them. So they actually came over to Switzerland before we left. Because it was great.
How lovely. How lovely. Yeah, very, very envious.
Yeah.
Well, listen, before we get into the sort of the nitty-gritty questions that I've got for you, tell our listeners about you, who you are, your background, and what you do.
Well, look, easy. I'm Italian, an engineer by training. I work my entire life in B2B companies, usually where there is, growth through innovation, because I am very passionate about, growing companies and particularly, something with a differentiated angle. And then in the last 15 years, I added to that my purpose, which is really around, ESG, so sustainability in particular, but, even social responsibility. And with the whole idea that, my what is really about growth, my how is innovation, and my why is the sustainability. And I think it's also coming from the fact that with my wife, who is American, we had 2 kids, and we started thinking about their future and what can I do to leave them a better world than the one I found.
Yeah, I hear you. Definitely hear you. Tell me, what gets you excited every day getting out of bed? What is your purpose?
Well, my purpose is really sustainability. And what gets me excited is that after a long career in corporates and then, in consulting at Bain and MBA, etc., I was able to finally create my own investment company. And, is one of these venture capital fund, or actually even better, what they call venture studio, which means that not only you provide financing to companies, but also provide all the support that they need in order to grow and the advice they need. So we really provide capital, we provide people, we provide strategy and open doors, like partnership, etc. So that's the idea. It took me almost a year to go where we are right now. We have done 5 investments so far, and I'm really passionate. I really love it. For me, even working weekend is not an issue when I need to, because for me, I'm actually having fun. And what is great is that I can finally choose the people I work with, and that makes a huge difference.
Just for someone who doesn't work in investments, could you give an example of one of the 5 investments that you have worked on and what that looks like? Because the world is so big, and maybe to put it into some kind of context, even if you don't have to say names, but maybe the type of area, and then what does that mean? Like, what does it look like?
I'm thinking which one, because I love them all, but let me go for something that's probably easier to understand, right? So there is this company in the UK that is a spin-off of Cambridge University that has created the first fully 100% paper bottle, which is 100% biodegradable, compostable, recyclable, just because it's fully paper. There is nothing else. A lot of the things that exist today on the market are actually have at least a little bit of plastic, which makes it then impossible to separate and recycle. Mm-hmm. And it actually all started with Diageo, that was looking for an opportunity to replace some of the glass and plastic they use today with a paper alternative because of their concern with sustainability. And then we brought on board, GlaxoSmithKline for pharma, and Castrol for motor oil, and then PepsiCo for non-spirits, non-alcoholic beverage, and then Stora Enso, which is one of the largest players in paper, that will do generic bottles for milk, etc., etc. Right? So we partnered very early on with this company that was really an R&D lab, and created around it everything that is required to make it successful. In particular, all the relationship to some of the largest fast-moving consumer good and healthcare companies, and then beyond that, even some of the, let me say, innovation partner that they need, like Stora Enso, like BASF for the coating that they need to have inside the bottle. And as a result, now the company is very successful. They're going for the next round right now. Actually, I was talking to them yesterday. And so it looks like, the launch will be by the end of the year, actually with the first bottle from Diageo, which is Johnny Walker Black, made of paper.
Oh, wow.
Which is, has been announced, so I'm happy to do that. But it's great. We're really looking forward to that, because all these companies, that are huge compared to the small little company these guys are, put it everywhere on the investor presentation, saying, hey, because, they feel the pressure from consumers, right? And as a result, they all say that they're going to launch significant volumes in the next year or so. But, so we're very excited about that. That's a real example of, something
that's
relatively easy to understand. And you should think about the size of the market is about 200 billion bottles globally. So as a result, not that we're thinking of, replacing everything immediately, but I think over time, people would want to have something that is better than the current solution, which, is impacting a lot plastic in the ocean and all the other
Absolutely.
issues.
And so these 5 that you worked on, all of them have a sustainable solution to the challenges of the world of
facing. At least for the bottle, right? So this is rigid, there are, many others. So as PepsiCo, for instance, they own Frito-Lay. There is still a work to be done on the flexible side. But for the rigid bottle, yes. And, in some cases, they may keep PET, and in some other cases, they may keep glass, but at least they will definitely all launch this paper alternative, and they want to all see the reaction from consumers, which we all hope will be positive, and I expect it will, because every time there has been a substitution with paper, we've seen a very good reaction for consumers.
Yeah, great. Wow. Now, Luca, I met you because you got involved with our TIE Accelerator project that kicked off in June, wasn't it? June, yeah. I would just love, before we get into the project and all that kind of stuff, I would just love to know, why did you apply? And obviously it was through the Marketing Academy. So a huge shout out to the Marketing Academy, because we're both massive fans of the Marketing Academy and you're actually really involved with Marketing Academy. But why did you apply and what did you hope to accomplish? What was that, where were you?
Look, I've always worked. So first of all, I've always believed that in giving back, even when you have no way of giving back, meaning that even when I was much younger and with a lot less opportunities, I always try to get involved in ways that give back, because I think we are very fortunate, and we should have also take the time to think about that and to be grateful and to provide back something to people that definitely have much less and are much less fortunate. Secondly, I've worked a lot with NGOs more recently because of my sustainability agenda, but much less on social responsibility. And I felt there was an opportunity, to connect with you and the others to do something in that space. And also try to understand much better what is required with international development, which I've been in touch with, but not so involved as we were with this project. So I thought a lot of opportunity to give back, but also a lot of learning were the two reasons that brought me initially there. And then I love you, and then I loved all the other people that some of them I actually tried to help you bringing in, and some others because I got so used with this venture capital thing I'm doing to always have people that I love working with. But I think the team was amazing. So it was really, really exciting. So thank you for that.
And I think I just love to bring to life the experience. And I think for people who aren't who are listening, who don't know what this is. So for those of you that are listening, we're an organization that's been going since 2006. We became an organization and started doing projects in 2007. And basically, we're a world-leading international leadership program for commercial professionals. But the massive difference that we provide is that we help people broaden their horizons, expand their networks, transform, grow, working as part of sort of a group, a small group, a cohort, to then crack a real challenge for one of the world's most impactful social initiatives. And so, people get involved for different reasons, but obviously it is to sort of spark new thinking, understand different things, and then be able to crack that challenge. And then, as you said at the beginning of this conversation, also help leave the world better for the next generation, right? So there's a lot of different reasons why people get involved. And I think I'd just love for you to bring to life, maybe you could talk about the project, because every single project that people work on is different, and they're all super bespoke, dealing with real life issues in different places around the world. And then it would just be lovely to just understand what the experience was like. But maybe you could just, bring to life what your project was and what interested you, I guess, about it.
Yeah, look, the project was, about 6 weeks in time. And, you selected a great team, as you were saying, of people who work typically in more private, profit-driven type of company. And very large ones, so they have best training and capabilities. And the project itself was to help the Cleaner Cooking Coalition, this NGO that is trying to prepare their involvement at the UN high-level dialogue for energy, which is the meeting that will happen in New York, as a side to the UN General Assembly. And they want to position the need that we all have to support this cause, which not many people know, but basically a lot of people in the world, about 3 billion, almost 3 billion, do not have access to clean formal cooking, or in other words, they have to use coal or wood or other type of biomass every day, which first of all causes a lot of issues because they have to spend an average of 4 hours a day just to collect wood, etc. Second, that puts a lot of these people that usually are women and kids in danger. The other reason for that is that when you, of course, cook, if you are in an indoor space, that can create a lot of emissions. And the calculation that we found is about 4.5 million people a year, again, mostly women and kids, die because of the smoke and then lung-related diseases that are formed. And beyond that, that also creates, very bad emissions. About 5% of the CO2 emission and 17% of the black carbon emissions globally is dependent on this issue. And actually, what was interesting is both myself and Gabriela, right, that was part of this, and we've been friends for a long time. We've been working a lot on sustainability for a very long time in these kind of spaces. We were not aware of this.
This is what I found extraordinary. I mean, Gabriela,
it's incredible, right? No one is speaking about it. Everyone speaks about solar and wind, and it's because they're cool, they're great, they are, and at the same time, who wants to invest, in improving, cooking equipment for people who can't afford to pay much.
Exactly.
And as a result, actually, when we've done this research, pretty much there are only governments that are, to some extent involved in this, but still, the investment required is very limited, and most people think to apply also a Western advanced approach, right, to almost create the next cooking equipment, with solar and whatever else, rather than providing something that is very affordable and maybe a simpler and easier and more adoptable solution, or even ask people who are in that space to develop that. So I think what has been great is to meet.
That is what I found.
It's incredible.
No, because it's true. I mean, these 2.8 or 3 billion people around the world, they're the poorest people on the planet. They're the poorest people on the planet. So the big investors and the people who are creating all of this incredible technology, they're looking for a return on investment. And are they going to get it from these people? No, but it's an issue that is impacting the planet and will do for the next 10 plus years.
Yes.
And actually, I think what I just keep hearing from this team, and for me as well, because obviously I'm following all of this, but trying not to sort of, I can't get involved. I'm like, I'm looking at you. But this thing of clean versus cleaner, that was for me okay. So I see what everyone is looking for is, so maybe you can bring that to life.
The very few that have been involved in this space, what they've tried to do is a little bit was I was trying to mention before, they've tried to go from current solution all the way to all bells and whistles type of solution, meaning, replace, maybe a very poor pot of today with something that will be electric, fuel cells or whatever else. Right, and be completely clean, both in terms of the use and the emissions. While the approach that the Cleaner Cooking Coalition, clean versus cleaner, is saying, look, at least we have to get cleaner compared to today. It doesn't mean that we have to be 100% clean already, because that will take very long time. While we need a solution for today, and I think that's absolutely the best approach in my view. And it will be maybe a transitional approach, but there is no chance that we're going to be able to convert, like in the next 10 years, 3 billion people. They don't have even electricity today or access to anything else, and they, all of a sudden they receive, the best, cooking equipment they've ever seen, and they don't even know how to use it. And it's also going to be rejected to some extent. The biggest risk is that these people will receive it and sell it the next day, and then no effect whatsoever for their own life. That's I think we'll learn a lot from the Cleaner Cooking Coalition in that sense. And what is funny also is that they are in a situation where they have very limited resources, and so this voice is not really translating. I think they've done super well in Malawi, which is one of the least developed countries, to your point before. Because there are now 2 million of these very simple pots that reduce dramatically the emissions and the risk for people. So there's been the adoption, and the idea is to use Malawi as a good example for everybody else. So Malawi, and we hope the president of Malawi will be the one pitching at the UN because they've been selected as champion of this energy access issue. And hopefully we can leverage that then to get a lot more resources, a lot more support and financing and fundraising for this cause that I think is key.
So just to back up a little bit for the listeners, because I'm aware that obviously they're coming blind to this. So as Luca's explained, so it's, there's the high energy dialogue meeting at the UN, and Malawi, because of these 2 million stoves that they managed to kind of get into the marketplace by 2020, they have been asked to represent these 2.8 billion people around the world to say, they need a voice. And basically they needed to position that message at this UN meeting. And so this is obviously what the team did. And they have created that voice and the positioning for this meeting, which is going to involve, we're almost certain, the president of the country, which is unbelievable, to explain the situation and bring to life the reality on the ground for all of these people, and then asking policymakers, decision makers, and just the general public to also be aware, because as you say, you and Gabriela and other people on the team, you've been working on this area, that you're specialists in this area, and you also didn't know. So I mean, this is not common knowledge to people who are even working in this area.
No, I think what is key also to know is that the UN high-level dialogue for energy has not happened for the last 40 years. And it's the first time that after the last meeting, really 40 years ago in Kenya, the UN has decided to reconvene this high-level dialogue for energy, because they also feel that, we're not progressing fast enough on the CO2 emission UN Sustainable Development Goals. And as a result, this will be a key milestone for the agenda of energy and, reducing emission globally. And so it's important that as part of this discussion, this will be considered as one of the key priority area to address, together with all the other things like, electric vehicles, transition, and, as we mentioned before, like alternative energy generation, et cetera, et cetera. And the other point is that will not stop there, right? There is COP26 in Glasgow in November. There is, this developed country meeting in Doha in January. And so the work that the team has done, and I think we should mention them all after, because otherwise...
Well, yeah, we definitely, we will. We will.
But it's been fantastic, because we really had an amazing combination of skills and know-how, and we all went directly into, our, competence, even if we were learning a lot, in parallel. But I think each of us naturally went into, okay, where can I add more value since we have such a short amount of time, and give a huge impact to these guys that definitely need it, and they probably never seen the type of work that we could do. I went more in organizing, like, this whole panel that will happen on the 7th of December.
So don't just pass by that.
Okay,
I mean,
we did was, look, first of all, we defined the whole pitch, right? What is the storyline, the presentation of what, the president of Malawi can use, and not only, of course, the storyline, but we built the full presentation for him, and made sure also that translates into a video in case he cannot travel there for whatever reason, or in case the UN decides that, people should not travel for COVID or any other reason. Then we went around saying, okay, how do we make sure that there is visibility, not only at the UN, but also elsewhere, of this type of discussion, right? And so one of the ways we did that was to, build a panel that we ran actually on the 7th of September, because that also happens to be a newly launched day for clean air by the UN. So we took the opportunity to convene, some amazing speakers that will be able to talk about this issue in a way that, is very pragmatic, and at the same time with a lot of know-how behind, right? So there is Christine, for instance, that works with the US federal government and basically is in charge, was the chief sustainability officer in the past, and now is in charge of all the investment approval process. So and she also works in venture capital and in energy in particular. So she has a lot of know-how there. There would be Marisa Drew, who is the chief sustainability officer of Credit Suisse, and also in charge of all the ESG growth know-how. We will have actually the Minister for Natural Resources and Forestry of Malawi, and a number of others that will be able to provide a significant value to the discussion, and hopefully we will attract a lot of people that we then will be able to share even with more people that this is a real issue that we need to address, and that we will be able to do the fundraising. We also have redone completely the website of the Cleaner Cooking Coalition, where a lot of the other assets that they use, even their social media strategy and the approach, and also specific posts and that they will be able to use over time, so that this is not just a one meeting or panel, but they can do others. Actually, some of the people that we contacted and they were not available, like Bertrand Piccard, they made themselves available for the next meeting at the COP26. So the idea was like, how do we create a sort of snowball effect, and then Krista and Connor and others are able to take over and manage this that is not their, let me say, usual background.
And so actually to the listeners, because this is going to be going out on Friday, so it will be in time for the panel, which is happening on the 7th of September. So the idea, of course, is if this resonates, you can subscribe to the panel and you can watch it, which will be super fascinating. And then there is something as well that you guys have created, which is the pledge, right? So that would be something.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
You're
Yeah,
asking.
I didn't want to but in a sense, take the surprise away. But
sorry, maybe I'm not supposed.
No, it's fine. It's fine. In the sense that the idea actually that we will present already in the panel and that will be pitched also by the president is something that I've seen happening when we were working with the Ellen MacArthur Foundation on the whole plastic packaging and new plastic economy. In circular economy. So the idea is to propose that we all pledge, both the government of Malawi, all the other governments of the United Nations, but also a number of corporations and NGOs and everyone who cares about this. They officially pledge. It will be on the website of the Cleaner Cooking Coalition that will own, if you want, the list of members or people that have decided to join. And the pledge is that by 2030, we want 100% of the people, of the 3 billion people, to have access to cleaner cooking, to something similar to what Malawi has already done, which means, a solution that is, in the case of Malawi, for instance, costs $2 more or less, and so very affordable, and is also developed locally. So there are people that have found a job by producing something that will be, worth their life. And if nothing else, at least the emissions will be definitely reduced. And we want to see that globally. And then we also want to see a commitment that from there on, or in parallel, by 2050, there will be a real clean solution as well. We reduce even further the emission. But creating this two-step approach shows that we want to do something immediately. We don't want to wait to have the best of the best available to everyone, and we want to make sure that people feel they're not forgotten, right? That they are part of the process. They are seeing the excitement of a global organization finding solution for them, and then of course I think they will get even more excited to be part of the next agenda.
Maybe now's a good time for us to mention the other individuals, and perhaps you can, as we're sort of as we're coming to the end of the podcast, you can just explain the experience, working with the team and also just how and what everyone kind of did. Because I think the thing that I found beautiful was that you all came from such different backgrounds, different countries, and you really just, all of you came into your own and sort of amongst yourselves decided, okay, this is what I'm going to own, and this is what I'm going to own, and this is what, and I just thought it was beautiful to see it all kind of coming out. And maybe you can also just, if there's a story that kind of stands out from the experience.
Look, I think what was great is, first of all, I think the process you have set up with TIE is great because, the first couple of weeks are really set up in a way that allow people to learn about international development, but are also very important to create a team spirit, right, among the people who are going to work together. And as a result, I think we were able to really use those weeks to get to know each other and to get ready for the next, even to know, what can I expect from this other person that I never met before. Luckily I had a couple that I knew, but many other people didn't know anyone. Right? So it's great that the structure that you have, I think, works really well. And so I think we should thank, first of all, apart from you, but we should thank Gabriela Herculano, who is, the CEO of a ETF company focused on sustainability in London. But, she has a lot of experience in energy from, GE, Goldman Sachs, Lehman, etc. Ulrike, actually, who is based in Switzerland like me, that, she's an expert of, let me say, PMO. She can manage any project. And she was really great at kicking our ass when needed.
I know, everyone's like she's also the mediator.
But we knew that she was doing it for the right reason, so we were always very respectful of her role. And then Sebastian, who is Gutierrez, who is from Colombia but based in London, and he's a great digital marketing person. So he was really good at thinking about how do we communicate this with channel, what's the content, etc. And then we had Joe Higgins and Monique Barnes, based in Australia, which was great because not only they're great in terms of competence on marketing, more on the all, we say, 4 levers of marketing and the full. And Joe, like me, we were part of the marketing academy, and so as a result, they could actually really help with the whole storyline and all the documents that are used to keep track of the great, ideas that, or the brainstorming that marketeers will do at the beginning. But, Alpha or
and your role, Luca, your role of pulling together these, lots of stuff, but I just kept seeing, you being able to pull together the most extraordinary people. Okay, I think we're going to get this person for this, and then this person for this, and also helping to. Your network is just extraordinary. It's so
look, because I've been doing so many different things in my life, which is one of the things that I enjoy. Right, I always thought of myself as a generalist, even if I spent a lot of time, in different functions in different companies. So I was trying to be on one side a little bit the trade union of the team, but also going out of my way to leverage my network in ways that would be useful for the cause that we were together serving. Yes, and I know that every time I was finding something like Kristen Connor, where I cannot believe, I'm speechless. Where did you get? So and some of these people are, to be honest, really impressive and incredible. And if I think is all of. I think it's because they know that I never ask anything of people, and when I do, is because there is a really good reason, and so they are also willing to jump in.
Is there a story that stands out from this experience?
I think, look, there are a lot of stories. I think what I found really incredible is that it was almost like we were working 24 hours a day, because between you in Brazil, some of the guys in Europe, London and Zurich, and Joe and Monique in Australia, we were continuously up and running. So what I found really incredible was that we could, almost hand over things one to the other continuously. And it felt like we worked on this like 6 months, not 6 weeks, because of, and it went incredibly fast. And we were doing a lot of volume, despite all of us having also,
full-time job. Just to be clear, we're not expecting this experience is not 24 hours every single day for 6 weeks.
No, it's not. Actually, everyone was working as normal, but I think we were finding time on weekends and nights. And it would be great. Sometimes I would have my kids coming up in my room, or Joe would have her daughter as well, and it was it's all fine, because I think we knew that we were stealing minutes and hours from from other things, but just for a really good purpose.
How do you see this? What the outcome of the experience? What will you take with you?
I think, look, in the past I was very much in touch with let me say, the big NGO, right? So the WWF, the UN, etc. What I did not realize, at least to the extent that I did by being in close contact with one of them, is that there are a lot, there are maybe thousands of much smaller NGOs that do need a lot of value. And I think you found a great way to combine leadership development with the ability to pull the know-how and capabilities of these people into companies that definitely need them very, very much. And as a result, will make a huge difference. I think it's incredible what you're doing and sourcing this project and finding the best people to make them happen. And I think there is tons of goodwill and people that really want to give back and they have no idea how to do it. And this can make a huge difference.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, we have come to the end of it. I just wonder, what haven't I asked you that you would like to tell our listeners?
What have you asked? No, I think you asked everything. But maybe we should tell everyone how to be in touch if they are interested in but I'm sure you will. But I think it's important that people have a
What could you tell someone who is interested? Do you see, obviously there's a huge part of TIE, which is the opportunity as a commercial professional, as you said, to be able to make an impact, to be able to give back for sure. But what makes TIE different to you just rocking up to an NGO and just volunteering your time? This is obviously a program. It's very different. What would you tell somebody who's keen to get involved?
I think what is great is that you've done a lot of the legwork already, which I'm not going to underestimate at all. Because I know how difficult it is to define a project with people that are not very used to work by project, probably. And to kind of put in a capsule what can be done to make a huge impact in a very short amount of time. And from what I've heard, it's not just the case of our project, right? It's many others that accomplish so much in such a little time. And I think, if you are just, going to join, and we have some people in the team that did, right? Ulrika went to Africa for a few weeks. But it doesn't really give the same impact if it's not, we say, structured and organized the way it is by TIE. So I'm, if it's not clear, I'm totally sold on the idea that you actually put together something quite unique. And I wanted to go through it myself to be able to also then advise others to do the same, because I think it makes a huge difference, to the extent that also helps really leadership development, particularly for people who are in that period, in that phase of their life where they're still in the growth phase of their career, and they want to see something. And I feel also that more and more the new generation will go even more in this direction, because as you know very well, like both millennials and Gen Z are much more, purpose driven.
Yeah.
Other people.
Thank you, Luca.
Welcome. Thank you.
Well, we are kicking off another one. We've got our next TIE Accelerator program kicking off on the 20th of September. We have a couple of spots left of that one. So if any of the listeners are interested, it is actually working as well in Malawi, but in a very different way. It's helping provide a second chance at life, essentially, for really vulnerable youth in Malawi. It's an organization called Chance for Change. They work with really vulnerable young people, many who have actually gone to jail and, helping them come out of jail. But this particularly is they've recognized it's quite horrible because of the pandemic. Women and adolescent girls have been horribly impacted just because there's a lot of abuse. There's more sex trafficking. They're not at school because of the pandemic. So it's created a really horrible situation. And what this organization has done in the past is they've created entrepreneurial opportunities for youth who have been in jail, boys actually. And actually through TIE, a few years ago, we had somebody who went out, and she came from an investment company, and she created a loan facility because to start a business there, it's $35. And so she went with £2,000 and basically created this hugely successful loan facility for these young people, which is still going today. And it's this entrepreneurial course. And so they're wanting to take that learning and implement it for these adolescent girls who many of them are already mothers, and they're stuck in a house where there's just horrible situations occurring. And they want to give them the independence and give them the entrepreneurial know-how with the loan facility to be able to give them a second chance at life. And so we're super excited. We've got a handful of people, but if there is anyone that is interested that comes from communications background or a business background or finance background, then this will be another incredible opportunity to make a tangible impact and, broaden your horizons, broaden your global network, and also just, like you say, have that real opportunity to give back. So if you are interested, you can find out more at TIEAccelerator.com. And you can apply there, and then we can jump on a call and I can explain more. I look forward to hearing from anyone who's listening. So Luca, thank you for joining us. It has been just as always, I so appreciate your enthusiasm and support. And of course, just you bringing on board Gabriella and Ulrika, which obviously just were game changers as well as you for the project. So super, super appreciative of that. And just so appreciative of the entire team. I mean, Sebastian also came via the Marketing Academy. Jo came via the Marketing Academy. She introduced us to Monique. And I think this just goes to show how it's just so amazing to just bring like-minded people together. And it can make amazing things happen and everyone just gets something from it. So thanks for being a part of it. I am truly grateful for everything. And I'm just excited to now have you as part of my network, which is amazing.
Thank you for the unique opportunity. And I thought it was, really fantastic. And I think it's one of these things that every day you wake up and you really get even more excited because of, what you're doing. So thank you.
Thank you. Amazing. Okay. Until next time. Hey everyone, this is Philippa again. I hope you enjoyed listening. Now this is your chance to get involved with TIE. If you work in the commercial world, whatever your profession, your position, or your experience, then TIE could be for you. You may have been in business for decades, but have always felt there's another way. Or you may just have a few years experience, but want to do more. Equally, if you want to create game-changing employees and see your company impact the world, we've got you covered. TIE has never been more necessary than right now, and you can be a part of it. Reach out to me at philippa@theinternationalexchange.co.uk and I can tell you more. Or join the TIE Accelerator info session for more information. apply.tieaccelerator.com. Better leaders, better companies, better world. I'm your host, Philippa White. This podcast has been co-produced by Berna Vieira and me, music by Berna Vieira, and artwork by Kelps Vahais. I hope we'll meet again soon.